In this beginner's tutorial, I'll show you how to make this scene consisting of very simple models of trees, characters and cars on a ground plane. First of all, I'm going to do File, New. I'm going to delete the default cube and I'm going to add Mesh Plane. I'm going to press S on the keyboard for scale and enter 20 for a scale factor of 20. I'm going to open up this side panel and click the material button. I'm going to add a new material which I'm going to call ground. I'm going to click on the diffuse colour and I'm going to move the colour wheel to a sort of neutral greeny browny colour. I'm going to go to the view menu and I'm going to toggle quad view. I'm going to go to the outliner window and I'm going to click on the eye here to hide the plane. I'm going to add mesh cylinder. I'm going to press S to scale followed by Z or Z for the Z or Z direction. Now I've experimented with scaling and I'm going to undo that with Ctrl Z and I'm going to go to the properties window and enter my values of 0.5 scale in the X direction, 0.5 scale factor in the Y and a Z or Z location of 1. I'm going to zoom in using the mouse wheel and I'm going to go to the materials button and add a new material which I'm going to call bark, and I'm going to make the diffuse colour a brown colour. I'm going to move the colour wheel to an orange and darken that to a brown. I'm going to go to the add menu and add mesh cone. I'm going to use the tip of the blue arrow to move that up. I'm going to hold down shift and pan down with the middle mouse button. Shift and middle mouse button to pan. I'm going to press S to scale and enter a value of 1.5. I'm going to go to the properties of the cone and enter a scale value for the Z or Z direction of 3. I'm going to use the tip of the blue arrow again to move that up. I'm going to go to the material button and add a new material. I'm going to call the new material tree green. I'm going to click on the diffuse colour, select a bright green and then make that darker. I'm going to hold down shift and select the base of the tree. I'm going to hold down shift and press D to duplicate and enter. I'm going to drag on the tip of the red arrow to move the duplicate to the side. I'm going to select the cone and press delete on the keyboard and confirm. I'm going to add mesh UV sphere. I'm going to use the tip of the blue arrow to move that up. I'm going to press S to scale and enter a factor of 2. Enter. Use the tip of the blue arrow to move that down. I'm going to list all my materials by clicking this button and pick up tree green. I'm going to hold down shift and select the base and I'm going to click join and I'm going to the properties of my new mesh model and I'm going to call that round tree, and I'm going to select the cone and I'm going to shift and select the base and I'm going to click join and I'll call that new mesh model evergreen. In the outliner window, I'm going to click the eye to display the plane again. I'm going to zoom back using the mouse wheel. I'm going to zoom back into front view and the right view. I'm going to press G to grab and I'm going to move the evergreen tree back. I'm going to hold down shift and press D to duplicate the tree, and hold down shift and press D to duplicate the duplicate and make a little group of evergreen trees. I'm going to select the round tree and press G to grab and move that back, and again shift and D to duplicate and shift and D to duplicate the duplicate and a little group of round trees. I'm going to bring into the scene the model of the monkey man I made in an earlier tutorial. To bring something into the scene, it's File, Append. Look for the Blender file with the model in, and when you find the file you'll see these folders. You need to go into the object folder and hopefully you see the mesh model in there. click Link Append. I'm going to press S to scale to shrink him down. I'm going to use the tip of the blue arrow to move him onto the ground plane and the tip of the red arrow to move him out the way. The next model I'm going to bring into the scene is the model of a red car I made in an earlier tutorial. Again, it's File, Append. Find the file. Go into the Object folder, select the model, Link Append, press S to scale, and use the tip of the blue arrow to put onto the ground plane and the tip of the red arrow to move it out the way. I want to bring in a model of a yellow car, but I have to make it first. So I'm going to open the red car and I'm going to add a new material, and I'm going to call the new material yellow. I'm going to click on the diffuse colour and I'm going to move the colour wheel to a yellow colour. I'm going to select the top of the car and pick up the yellow material, and I'm going to hold down Shift and join all the parts, select all the parts and then click Join, and then I'm going to call the new shape yellow car, the new mesh, and I'm going to File, Save As, Yellow Car. Save that. Now I can go back to the scene and I can File, Append and find the file, go into the Object folder, select the model, Link Append, press S to scale, use the tip of the blue arrow to move it up, and there we have our yellow car. I'm going to select the monkey man and I'm going to press G to grab, and I'm going to move him to the back. I'm going to hold down Shift and press D and make a duplicate. I'm going to hold down Shift and press D and make a duplicate of the duplicate. I'm going to hold down Shift and press D and make one more duplicate. I'm then going to press R to rotate the outer figures to form a little group. I'm going to select the red car, hold down Shift and press D, have another red car. I'm going to select the camera and G to grab and move it back over here, and G to grab again and move it up, and there we have our first Blender scene. That's the end of the tutorial. If you don't want to make the models of the monkey man and the red car, you can download them from my website www.freemovies.co.uk at the Blender channel there. Thanks for watching and goodbye.